The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Earnestly podcast, new EJ loves the internet. It is the first episode of EJ Loves the Internet in a long fucking time. Probably, I think the last time we recorded this one, was in October, maybe? Definitely in the fall. It's been a long time to the show. How you guys doing? I got my host, Ernest EJ Christian. We're gonna do a little bit because I piled these categories, these videos and whatnot for quite a while now, and haven't really used them. So I want to try to get out there and react to it, of course. So we're recording this actually on Monday, April 13th, 2025, 26 rather. Let's not waste your time. You guys know the deal. Yeah, whether it's videos submitted by you guys, videos I find on the internet. It can be audio files. It can be some you guys submit to me, whatever. A picture, whatever it may be to react to. Doesn't matter. It is a way to react to what is cool on the internet. So let's not waste your time. Let's get started to our first video here of this. I'm trying to keep this episode because the last couple of ones we've done were about over an hour. I'm gonna try to keep it a little more condensed. So if I continue doing this on a weekly basis or each couple of weeks, the best way for me to do is probably to do lesser stuff in the episode and keep it more condensed in that way. So let's get started here. Let's get to the first video. If I can get this up here real quick. All right. Here is the first one on Allen Iverson speaking on load management in the NBA.
Management, right. Like can you imagine somebody telling me we gonna rest you tonight? What do you mean rest me? It's a game.
Or you coming into the season and going like this? I got 82 games. Count on me missing 20.
No, I'm not cut from that type of club. I'm not built like that. To each his own. Now I'm not knocking anybody, and I'm not knocking any organization for the way they get down. But I just can't imagine you telling me like you're not playing tonight. We're gonna rest you, and I'm like, what do you mean? You want to bring up the word practice? Shit, rest me tomorrow at practice.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't rest me when we got a game. And then I always used to think about this, Steve, throughout my career. Even when I was hurt, like, damn, I used to be, obviously I couldn't be in the foxhole with my guys, but I used to always think like somebody, it might be that kid or that person's only opportunity to see me get down.
You're going to tell me nothing, bro. Now, I've told you guys over the course of the last few months that my interest in sports has been waning. The NBA season has been kind of meh. This year I've been like kind of not really into it in the same way I normally am, as it feels that way. And shit like this he's being on load management being an issue is one of the reasons why it's just. And I'm trying to not sound like the old man on the lawn guy, but the reality is there's too many things around the sport right now that is hurting the league right now. It's why the numbers are starting to continue to shrink, continue to drop. And as I said on an episode recently upon an NBA show with Greg about 2 weeks ago, the reports now that the salary cap for next year is projected to be $1 million lower, lesser than it was last year. That's a sign that there's no growth. Okay? It's a sign. There's no growth. So there you go. And then there you go. So the fact of the matter is that, again, not trying to be the old man here because I'm 45, but at the same time, These players are not self-aware, and Al Iverson is another veteran who is speaking on this, who understands the fan, people who pay, especially in today's economy, tons of money to go to a game. These players don't get it, and I'm speaking on this because I'm worried about it. I want the NBA to thrive. It is my favorite league, my favorite sport in the world, but I can't let bullshit slide if you're fucking up. Okay, so Al Iverson doing God's work there in speaking the truth on NBA load management, but it's complete bullshit anyway. So this is my opinion. All right, next video here to put up here. 1 second. Here is this is a funny video. A wife reacted to watching the Royal Rumble of 1990, watching wrestling. This is hysterical. Listen to this.
Is he the African dream?
I was really hoping you wouldn't ask me that. I don't think I can explain his gimmick and still stay within YouTube guidelines.
Got it. Okay.
Canadian earthquake.
All right. Again, let me remind you guys also too. When you watch this show, internet especially too, you want to have it with the video. Check out the videos especially too, because the videos you got to see it. That was Akeem, one of my favorite wrestlers, one of my favorite gimmicks of all time, should I say? Obviously, white man playing an African person, weird back then, still weird now, but hysterical nonetheless. All right, continue.
Within YouTube guidelines.
Got it. Okay.
Canadian earthquake. We need Neil deGrasse Tyson in here to be like, there actually weren't any earthquakes in Canada, so this is inaccurate.
Why is he jumping?
So it's an earthquake. Did you... How many of these have we watched?
It's a gimmick, bro. It's a gimmick, bro. What are we doing?
God, that is so stupid.
It really, to be fair, it really is stupid. Though, if you're not a wrestling fan, you see this shit. It's like, yeah, this is dumb as fuck. It really is.
The model Martel. That is how I'm walking into 2025.
Well, he looks like Ronald McDonald.
Yeah. Whatever food Hulk Hogan is selling, you got to be able to put mustard on it, because that is a mustard outfit. He ripped the shirt.
What does that signify?
Oh, that he means business. Oh. Look, honey, if we were in the middle of a conversation and I ripped my shirt off, you would go, "Wow, he's really serious."
Yeah, you'll probably also get judged very harshly by you're really serious that you're serious that you're a moron because you're not Hulk Hogan.
No, it'd go, "Wow, I'm calling a psychiatrist."
Exactly.
What is the scenario where ripping your shirt off in public is the right thing to do? If you have a bee in your like that got it stuck inside your shirt.
Okay, a bee?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. What is the logic in this?
Crisscross.
We're gonna go bouncy.
Bouncy.
It is very bounce house. They got a little bouncy castle for a minute.
I know. I can't believe people take this seriously. I'm sorry.
I love this shit. I don't care. Judge it all you want, man. I'm a wrestling guy. I don't give a damn. This is my era too, also, but I get it. People who can't understand it, I totally get it. I'm not gonna sit there and defend it blindly. It is what it is, man. All right, next video here we're gonna have. Let's see, Katt Williams talking about the 2016 election.
New election changed everything, and don't worry, white people. We not gonna talk politics. We not gonna say who voted for who. We learned white people know how to keep a secret. Y'all didn't tell us shit this election, not nothing. We didn't know white people was up to something until they started showing white people in line voting. And all the white people looked like they had a secret to keep and shit. I think white people is up to something. We used to seeing people be wrong. We ain't never seen nobody be this wrong. CNN was wrong.
He ain't lying whatsoever, man. We got 10 years ago to the election and election night, and people thought Hillary had in the bag, man. And wow, everybody was shocked, including myself. I'll call it. I thought Hillary would. I thought Trump had a chance because Hillary's campaign was just absolute garbage. But I didn't think Trump was actually probably worse. But Trump was able to speak to people who were just felt disenfranchised and not engaged in this and that. Hillary was very unauthentic, and I'll still stand by that. When really bad campaign, Democratic apparatus also screwing Bernie Sanders. Top of that, there's a lot of things you can I've spoken on this podcast for years about that. So you guys know what I'm talking about. Everything I've said. And by the way, everything I've said has come to pass. So all you people who get mad at me about, oh, you always shit on the Democrats only. Okay, what have I said? Okay, I can show them all I want. What have I said that I've been wrong about so far? And I'm not sitting here saying I'm trying to be all, my whole point is trying to be right all the time. But what have I said that I have not been right? I've been wrong about? Just saying, everything played the way I thought it would.
CNN was talking big shit before the election. They had the map up, had all the states highlighted and shit. They was talking big shit. There's no way that Trump can win this unless he wins here, and here.
And he still won.
That motherfucker came back from commercial. They was sweating and crying and shit. They was bringing all the neighborhoods up separately. Where's the niggas vote at?
Oh, that's great. Oh, my God. That's fantastic. Katt Williams is fantastic, man. Top 5 recruiting for me all the time. Top 5. Not even close. And again, he's speaking truth there. That was actually what played out. Okay? You love, hate Trump. It's exactly what played out in the end. So be mad all you want for what I'm saying. But again, what have I said that's been wrong? Just saying. All right, next video here we have DMX on why he likes dogs over people. Oh, my wife loved this video especially.
More than people. Dog doesn't know how to lie to you. Dog doesn't know how to be fake. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? If you shit, he gonna be, but you could catch your dog taking a shit, hit it with the newspaper, and then somebody knock on the door. Nigga, he gonna like, pause on the ass whooping. Let's address this situation. Right. And be ready to kill for you right after you whoop his ass. That's unconditional love.
Yeah. As someone who's owned dogs, I haven't owned a dog in a couple of years, though. My last dog passed away, and I don't plan to own a dog ever again, pretty much, because it's a lot of work and it's a lot. I would need a come to Jesus moment for me to own a dog again. I'm right now. Cats are my thing. Cats are easy, but dogs are so loyal. Yes, they need more attention than cats, but when it comes to loyalty, they don't bullshit you, bro. DMX described that perfectly. If they shit on the floor, they're not gonna fucking deny it. I mean, obviously they're not human, obviously, but not gonna sit there and fucking bullshit you. It is what it is. They'll take their whooping and whatnot and call it, keep moving. They know they fucked up. But in terms of loyalty, they are by far the most loyal animal you can find. Okay. I just don't want any more dogs now because I'm still really raising 2 young kids and it's really expensive at this point now. And I'm kind of I'm in a point in my life where I want to downshift now and raise my kids, get older. Cats are fine. Cats are easy to raise, and then downshift. I talk about it a lot in this podcast about how I'm just trying to coast through these next 10, 15, 20 years. Healthy and doing all that stuff. But do I miss owning a dog? Yeah, I do to some degree, but I also don't miss the work that came with it too. Also, so there's that. All right, next video here we have. Excuse me, Charles Barkley talking about the 1992 Dream Team that he was part of.
By 60, 70 points. But practice were the most intense things I've ever been through in my life because you had Michael and Clyde who hated each other. You had Magic and Scotty had just locked Magic up in the finals. They were trying to kill each other. You had Karl Malone and me who was trying to prove who was the best power forward in the world. You had David Robinson and Pat Ewing who was trying to prove who was the best center. So the practices they're the most intense thing I've ever been through in my life. The games were easy. Let me tell you something. Those practices were like Game 7. It was incredible. The intensity, the ego, it was crazy. But that was the only time. That's when it was tough at practice. The games were like, hey man, we represent the United States. Let's get it done,
dude. And in recent years, they've showed footage of the practices and stuff they've had. Pretty sick stuff. If you're a basketball fan, especially, definitely worth diving into the archives of that stuff. But the Dream Team was a crazy thing for me because I was 12 years old at the time. That was a thing. And we all knew they were going to win because you had Jordan Hyde Powers, Magic Johnson, that even though he had left the year before due to having HIV, he was still, when he left the NBA, still one of the best players in basketball. Bird wasn't the same guy with back issues, but all these guys on the team, Robinson, Ewing, Chris Mullin, Dave Robinson, of course, John Stockton. And by the way, for the record, Isaiah Thomas should have been out. I know there was politics involved in that. Isaiah Thomas deserved to be on that Dream Team. I'll stand and die on that hill. Having said that, though, that team was crazy good. I've seen the footage of the practices, of course, between the two teams and when they do scrimmages and stuff. It is by far better than the actual Olympic games they played that year. Insane stories there. I've read books and I've heard audiobooks on the Dream Team and whatnot. It is really good stuff. I think Jack McCallum had a book he wrote years ago. Check it out if you get a chance. I read it years ago. Amazing stories from unpacked from those years. Honestly. All right, next video here we have Brock Lesnar's funniest moments.
I'm coming for you, boy. And I'm coming hard.
I got moose, elk, mule deer, whitetail, black bear, Austin 316. Can I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah!
How about a couple beers?
What?
How about you?
What?
And you?
What?
I'm the beast and the best in the world. Paul, say something stupid. Party's over, Grandpa. I got kids too, man. Come on in here. I feel you. Let's talk about your kids. I don't give a about your kids.
Knock, knock.
That's the original. Fuck your kids. Fuck your kids.
Brock Lesnar does a knock-knock joke in Philadelphia. I thought I saw it all. Okay, Brock, who's there?
Bobby.
Bobby who?
Exactly.
Oh wow, Brock Lesnar there's not a lot of times Brock Lesnar shows his personality like this. Over the recent years, he's been doing it with the boombox Brock. You have a couple of things he's done recently. Cowboy Brock, of course, with personality. But because Brock, when he came to WWE back in 2002, he was very straightforward, serious, not. Brock Lesnar the last 8, well, longer than that now, 14 years though, but especially the last half of his 14 years has been really showing more personality. This year supposed to be his last year, supposedly his last year in WWE. We're gonna miss him though. I told you guys 3 years. WWE is much better when Brock Lesnar is involved in it. Wrestling is more fun to watch when he's involved. That's the reason I'm literally ordering WrestleMania 42 this year is because of the Brock Lesnar Oba Femi match. I literally did a random week this week on that, and that's the reason why I'm ordering ESPN Unlimited, ending my boycott for at least a month, at least 1 month. Which way I'm getting 2 PLEs because by me getting the PLEs, close to WrestleMania, I can also get Backlash also too. So I'll be able to get 2 PLEs for 1 month for $30. So there you go. All right, next video here. That's called being smart with your money. So I'm a tight ass. Whew. Oh, this is a video on how white guys act when meeting a black guy. Oh, this should be funny.
For some reason, whenever a white guy meets a new black guy for the first time, they always act like they're auditioning to become black. Oh, God. Literally, it could be a guy who talks like me. He'd still be like, yo, salutations. All right. You good? You chilling? Nice. They start making noises. They don't even say words like, yeah. Crap. We out here. It's so weird, dude. You never really see the reverse of that. You never see black people audition to be white outside of a job interview. Of course,
yeah. A job interview, or in my case, being pulled by a cop. I will say I've had stories where when a cop pulls you over, which is rare, but when it does happen, I literally turn up the whiteness up. I turned up over proper on that stuff, and I'll tell you, it has worked. It has worked. Now, the last time I got pulled over for speeding, it wasn't going to work. I actually speeded in a school zone that I thought I was past the end of the school zone, but was in school zones. I had to pay fucking $300 for a ticket, which is crazy itself, but I get it. But yeah, that does actually work most of the time. So, and that is a thing. That is not actually a rib. So, all right, next video here to share. We have Shaq's Mount Rushmore of power forwards.
Guy who I named, who I couldn't fucking stop, I couldn't intimidate, couldn't do nothing with him. Tim Duncan.
I think we all will have him.
Big fundamental.
He did play quasi power forward, quasi center.
No, David Robinson was there.
When David was out,
He never fucking guarded me. Don't do that. Don't you fucking say. I hate when y'all fucking try to say he's a big man. He's not a.
I look. So with Shaq, real quick, like I admire him being transparent and shit with his feelings and stuff. But I also think Shaq is one of the most sensitive people out there. If you critique Shaq about anything, he's very fucking sensitive about stuff. Look, I've come to a place though where I can compartmentalize Shaquille O'Neal's legacy. He's phenomenal. It's fantastic. But at the same time, he does get very sensitive about when you push back on something in regards to him or against him. So anyway, back to the video.
Big man. This is a power forward. This ain't big man. Let's get that straight right now. No, he did. He guarded me occasionally.
To me, that's
although he is correct about that though. This is about power forwards. Shaq was obviously center.
He's the greatest power forward ever lived.
All right. Second one, called Mailman Malone. A lot of points, stayed in shape, played great.
Longevity, that matters too.
and he beat some people up.
He did. Number 3, Fat Boy, because he wasn't supposed to play
Fat
like
Boy.
that, but he did.
Fat Boy, of course, Charles Barkley, his partner on now ESPN.
Charles.
Okay.
Now the fourth one, because we running out of time.
No, we're not.
I don't want to sit here and think about it all day. So the first name that comes to mind is Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett, he played at a high level, and he went to Boston and helped them excel.
It's a great
get to the next level.
That's a fabulous.
Those are my 4.
It's a good list, though. It's a good list. No argument there. I think the only other person I would probably consider taking out Garnett and putting in Dirk Nowitzki. And here's why. And we spoke on this on the show a few times, actually. His one championship, because here's the thing, Garnett and Dirk, they both had one ring. Dirk's one ring weighs heavier than probably anybody's one title ever. Remember, the same guy beat the upstart Blazers in the first round, beat the back-to-back champion Lakers with Kobe and Pau Gasol, beat the upstart Thunder, who was ready to be who were at that time were on level to compete for championships, and then beat the Big Three Heat, all in the same run. Okay, so Dirk has a case. I'm not mad at KG being in that list, but I may consider putting Dirk at a KG, honestly, because KG obviously a better defender, Dirk the better offensive player, obviously KG a good offensive player, Dirk a average at best defensive player. So it's almost like a wash. I'm not mad about it. I think why I would give Dirk more of the credit is that Dirk did more or less on his championship team, whereas KG, had to do it with Ray Allen and Paul Pierce and Rondo and those guys that really good Celtics team that won the title and was always in contention every year. So if I had to decide on the 4, it'd be my same 4: Charles Barkley, Tim Duncan, Karl Malone, of course. And by the way, Karl Malone would be higher. You can imagine Karl Malone if he got one, if he beaten Jordan one of those 2 times against Chicago in 97-98. Can you imagine the legacy differences, the legacy talk of him now with this one ring? He may get consideration for being a top 15 player. Just saying. I probably put Dirk head of KG, but by a smidge. All right, next one. Next video here we have. We have John Cena talking on why he does not have any kids or doesn't want any children.
Have any kids? Question mark?
Yeah.
Currently, no.
Why?
Well, from the information that I've gathered, you kind of got to look after them.
Yeah.
Duh.
It's kind of.
Yeah. I'll just give you a small insight into my life. I have been working straight for 43 days now, and I got another 20 to go. So if I were to bring a life into this world that needs environmental nurture and unconditional love, I also know that takes time. And I've been blessed with some great opportunities, and life has awarded me the chance to do some amazing things. And right now I want to seize those opportunities. So I don't want to make an irresponsible choice and bring a life into the world that I will neglect. I don't think that's fair. That's a great question. Thank you for being vulnerable enough to allow me to answer it. I appreciate you.
That's one thing about Cena people love. Authenticity goes a long way. I've said for years, John Cena is what we all thought Hulk Hogan was back in the 80s and 90s. Okay? Yes, they both play politics and agree. But I think with Hogan's a lot more egregious. Cena's is honest and authentic to a fault. And that's a perfect answer. Not everyone wants kids. And that's okay. Why would you want to force someone to have kids just to have kids, and then they end up resenting the child later on down the road because they didn't want it in the first place? It's irresponsible. It's irresponsible. Not everybody is set to have kids, and that's okay. There was a time when I got married. Laura and I both, we got married at the time with the intention of not having children. And then we changed our mind a year later because we wanted kids. But that's something the decision we both made together. So this is the best answer I could ever have. Not because, and now you can get mad about it. Not saying, oh, like, well, what's your business? No, he laid out why. That his work is important to him. And he's being honest. Better to do what's right for you and than to raise a child, and now you're resenting the child because he didn't want it in the first place. But he did it because of pressures from family, from the world at large. So great answer by John Cena. This is why people love him. You know. So anyway, next video here we have Maven talking about the WWE without Vince McMahon.
About Vince McMahon, Vince knew that the everyday family was where his bread was buttered. He knew that in order to create generational fans, he was going to have to make his product accessible on a weekly basis, accessible on a monthly basis at an affordable rate. They're pricing out loyal fans, and it's the one thing, but wrestling isn't the only one doing it. Football's doing it. Baseball's doing it. Yeah. I used to work for the Brooklyn Nets. And they encouraged us to sell to corporations. Don't call families because they're not the one. Yeah, they're like, our courtside tickets, run $150,000. Regular people don't have that kind of money as disposable income. Corporations do. Yeah. And it's sad. It's sad that we live in that society. But I'm a firm believer that the answer to every question is money.
Yeah. It always is, but maybe it's become something that's really true. And this is what's happening also with WWE, especially with TKO, especially. They're not targeting families because Vince McMahon knew better. Vince McMahon knew that families ultimately, number one, you get times 4, times 5, whatever it be, for a ticket to a show, priced at a reasonable rate. TKO is marketing their material towards a different market. Again, if you as a consumer want to push back on these companies, you have to sacrifice. You have to push back. You have to not put money in their pockets. That's why I'm proud of the fact that WrestleMania tickets have been lowered this year because people have pushed back. Okay? I told you guys already, I'm boycotting WWE because of what they're doing here with the ticket prices and the fracturing of the content and whatnot. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And again, we're not entitled to have it, but we can also push back on it too also. And they respond according to, because at the end of the day, as much corporations you want to sell to, there's still more people in this world than corporations. So corporations want to buy your shit, and people don't want to buy your shit. Who are you going to sell to? There's still more people in numbers than there are corporation numbers. So maybe hit a good point there, especially, and it's happening, like I said, it's happening not just in WWE, but all sports in general. So it's really sad where we're at now, but that's reality, right? So, all right, next video here we have, you see here, we got, is Michael a discussion about Michael Jordan's 6-0 record. Is it overrated or not? You be a judge.
Jordan's 6-0 finals record is the most overrated stat in sports.
The stat works because it's a clean story. Perfect record, never failed, but it ignores when he did fail. 6-0 in the finals isn't proof he's untouchable. It's proof he lost earlier instead. Jordan played 15 seasons. In 9 of them, he didn't even make the finals. In Wilt's, Magic's, or LeBron's careers, the years they lost in the finals still count as failures on their record. For Jordan, those failures just came in earlier rounds. It also ignores how loaded those Bulls teams were. Even when Jordan first first retired, they still had Pippen at his peak, shooters like Kerr, and the same defensive system that strangled teams. The very next season, without their superstar, they won 55 games and nearly made it to the NBA Finals without Jordan, which tells you just how good that team actually was. And even when Jordan returned in 1995, he went nuclear down the stretch. But the Bulls still lost to Orlando. The perfect Finals record makes it sound like every year he played, he dominated the league start to finish. In reality, he was human. His teams were elite. The 6-0 narrative just skips the years it didn't work out.
That's true. Here's the thing I will say about that. There is a lot of propaganda because Michael Jordan and LeBron James as a whole. But both their brands, people who run their brands, are pushing narratives to shape our thoughts. Here's what I'll say. I agree with the video. The 6-0 number stat, want to call that, he's absolutely correct. It is overrated. Follow me here. I'm still Jordan number one, though. But here's the thing. I'm Jordan number one not because 6-0. I'm Jordan number one because of the context. 6-0 is part of the argument, but it's not the argument. It's also the fact that he's probably the best, or the best two-way player in history of the game. I put him and Pippen neck and neck. There, of course, maybe him better because he's a better offensive player than Pippen, but as a defender, certainly on par with Pippen as well, too, also. Better leader, in my opinion, than LeBron, other star. So the 6-0 stat is absolutely overrated, but he's still number one because you shouldn't be using that as your only elixir, your only argument to define that argument. It's not because of that. There's other reasons why Jordan is greatest of all time. Use more and better context when having these arguments about Jordan versus LeBron or any other star for that matter. So yes, I agree with that take also for the record. All right, next video here we have. Guess I'm quick. Sorry, guys. All right. Here is the reality is just fatherhood actually here. So a video here on fatherhood.
Only man who spends his whole life wanting his kids to do better than he did. He doesn't say it out loud. He just works a little harder, sleeps a little less, and worries a little more. Because every time he looks at them, he sees a chance to give them the life he never had. He hides his tired eyes behind a smile, shows up when no one else does, and sacrifices pieces of himself so his kids never have to feel the same kind of struggle. He teaches them how to stand tall, how to be kind, and how to keep going when life gets hard. One day, when his kids finally chase their dreams, when they stand in the place he once dreamed of reaching, he won't say a word. He'll just smile quietly, because that's all he ever wanted.
Yeah. As a father myself, I can relate to that. I will say, though, too, also, in addition to the fathers, I know it says dads, obviously, but moms, too. Moms sacrifice a lot for their kids, especially moms that give the careers to stay home to raise their children, too, also. You know, which I'm for. Women do whatever they want, whatever life they choose to raise, as long as they agree to it with their spouse, as long as there's a synergy there. But yeah, dads take on a lot too as well. A lot of mental health things too also. I remember for me being a father, and I spoke about this a couple weeks ago on one of my rants, because my kids now just recently turned 13 and 9, and some of the pressures that kind of enveloped me for those couple of years, those early years as a parent, like it hit me like it wasn't the most positive experience for me on a personal level because there was a lot of pressures I was facing. I was doing an ESPN internship at the time, which I stopped doing because I needed to focus on work. And my mental health, I had a career change also too, and my mental health at the time was not in a good place. I almost got divorced. My wife and I almost separated, got divorced on that same first year. My relationship with my mom wasn't that great at the time because of everything going around that. So there's a lot going on, and I still had to be focused. You know what I mean? So it is not the easiest thing to deal with, but you press on, and 13 years later, it's still something I'm very proud of. Anyway, next video here coming up. Let's see what we have before we get out of here. I want to keep this kind of tight. Lawrence Taylor on why Joe Montana, not Tom Brady, is the GOAT.
I'm still with Joe Montana. I'm not going with Tom Brady. Why? Because Joe is the GOAT. I've played in his era. I've seen it with my own eyes. Tom Brady got all the rules on his side. You can't touch him. If you so much as touched him, they'd call a foul. That's ridiculous. Now let's talk about something real. Joe Montana, 4 Super Bowl appearances, 4 wins. Brady lost 3. Joe played in a tougher era with harder hits, no soft rules, and no cheating scandals. Brady's been padding stats for 23 seasons, always helped by the refs. Of course, the younger fans call him the GOAT, but just because you didn't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen. Joe was different. He didn't need flashy numbers, he just won. Calm under pressure, precise, fearless. When the lights were brightest, Joe was perfect. He didn't talk about being the GOAT. He proved it every Sunday. That's the difference between greatness and hype.
All right. So anyway, my wife's going behind me. Oh, sorry. So yeah, the argument there by LT is actually very, very, very it's a good argument. Now, I am Brady number 1, Montana 2, but it's close for people to give credit for. Number 1, I think Brady needed those 7 rings to solidify that, because of everything he just said. There are certain things that Brady had advantages to, the rule changes, and on that side of the ball altogether. Sorry, my wife's leaving here. She's in the garage. So there are certain advantages that Brady did have. What hurt Brady Montana for me for years is the fact the injuries, because they're healthy. And remember, there was a time in 1988 where there was a case that Steve Young would have taken his job, which he eventually did 3 years later, but that's after Brady Montana added 2 more rings. So there was a time when 1980 was a big crossroads. Like, does the Niners keep Montana because he couldn't stay healthy? He had 2 rings, but the Niners were kind of a little bit of a muck. They were struggling a little bit, and then Montana got that 3rd ring against Cincinnati. They went on a tear after starting 6-5, and they went on a tear, won the title that year, and then went back-to-back right next year and dominated 14-2, dominated Broncos in the Super Bowl, and that legacy was history. And legacy was made, and history is made. That helps Montana's case overall. I'm still Brady 1, but I think Brady Montana is very, very close. I think it's very, 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 very close. All right, next video here. We get out of here. Let's see. Godfrey imitating Donald Trump with Dr. Dre. This is hysterical. You gotta listen to this.
Dr. Dre, he's a real doctor. He's a really good doctor. I have some good doctors. I never met a doctor that made beats. Never made it before. I don't know if he went to medical school, but I'm going to tell you right now, this guy has the best music. I love NWA.
Bro, I'm not doing this. No.
Negroes with attitudes.
We're not doing this.
He's a Negro with a great attitude. I love this guy. He's one of my favorite black producers.
Black.
You're so great. You're so amazing. I swear to God, all your music. The G thing is my favorite. You got to do a T thing, a Trump thing. You know?
I did not approve this message.
I love this guy, Dr. Dre.
Oh my God! I think him and the guy I think I had showed on one of the previous episodes. I think it was number 3 and number 2. Matthew Friend, the comedian, probably do by far the best Trump imitations I've ever seen and heard. The Godfrey's, and again, Godfrey's one of the most underrated comedians, or I'll say one of. I think he is the most underrated comedian in the industry. He doesn't get enough credit for the stuff he does. He's not very mainstream in the same way that obviously the Katt Williams of the world and Kevin Hart and all that. But Godfrey is incredible. All right, a couple of videos to get out of here. Let me see. About 3 more, I think. That's where to go through. How about this? Jeff Teague on Joel Embiid versus Nikola Jokic.
He's the A minus
compared to Joker.
Compared to Joker.
Yo, stop it, bro. Stop, bro.
They both A plus. It's Joker.
Joel Embiid is really better than Joker if he don't ever get hurt,
bro. Healthy? Come on.
If Embiid not hurt, bro, he the best player in the NBA, bro. Nobody can stop him, bro.
I have no argument with you, T. I'm just talking about what's presented. The nigga played. You win, brother. You win. All I'm saying is, from what we know, y'all, I got more faith in Embiid than y'all.
Oh, I never said you gonna play. I just said
y'all take him under for the games played.
For sure. 1,000%. For sure. But I'm just saying the games that he actually gonna play, you can bank 30. You can throw a 30, throw it right there.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Here's the reality. If take away injuries aside, looking at skill set, there's an argument that Joel Embiid is actually better than Nikola Jokic. So I would say Nikola Jokic is the better offensive player all around because not only is he I think both are great scorers on level. Okay, both can score when healthy, 30 plus a game without a problem. Both are very good rebounders. Jokic has one advantage on him on the opposite side of the wall as a passer. Jokic is one of the best passers in the league. Like this year alone, he led the league in scoring and assist. Okay, scoring and assist. It's insane. But where the advantage Embiid does have, again, when healthy, which is obviously not very often, is defensively. He's a better defender than Nikola Jokic is. So there's a case. There's an actual case that Embiid, skill set wise, is better than Nikola Jokic. In fact, I've said for years that Nikola Jokic is skill wise one of the greatest centers of all time. There is no center who is as great two ways as Joel Embiid has been, when he was healthy. The problem is though he's never healthy, so he's obviously excluded from the argument. Obviously, okay. But here's the reality. There's the argument part, but here's the reality. Joel Embiid can't stay healthy. Nikola Jokic is better than Joel Embiid. It's not even close because you have to play results. The results are the results. Okay, the Joker is right now a top 15 player all time. He gets another ring. He might switch to the top 10. There's a case for that. Okay, so that's just a reality situation. We can look at all the skill set this and if he was this, that's fine. Do all you want, but if you're not available, then it doesn't matter. Okay, and that's all it is. All right, 3 more videos. Get you out of here. Let's go on Eli Manning. Wow, Eli Manning talking about Tom Brady.
It's you. No, I don't think Tom hates me. I love the heckle Tom on social media. I like hiding behind like my phone and sending tweets at him. When I see him in person, I just like, hey Tom, like you're the best. I never talk trash to him in person because he can crush you. He's got 7 Super Bowls and Super Bowl. He's MVP of the leagues and all this. But I'm very brave behind my social media account.
Do you think it's good to know that Eli Manning, and again, I'm a Giants fan, so I obviously I'm Team Eli, although I know Brady's the greatest all time. It's good to know that Eli Manning, even when joking around, knows he's very self-aware that okay, we beat the guy twice, but let's be real, who's better? It's Brady's not even close. Tom Brady is arguably the GOAT. Okay, Tom Brady has 7 rings, and it wasn't for the two Eli snapped out of him, he would have 9. It was when Nick Foles would have 10. Okay, and all 3 of those games were nip and tuck. Yeah, like he got blown out. Okay, you one play away. All those games were one play away from winning those rings. So let's stop. And yes, you could look a big arm way around. Well, Brady lost the Carolina game and this and that. He could have won. He could have also lost more. True, very true. But it's the reality situation. Okay, but the Eli Tom Brady thing back and forth on social media is actually very very funny. So, all right, 2 more videos to get you out of here. Let's see this one here. Here's a video here on Magic Johnson versus Steph Curry.
Steph Curry's
Who's a better finisher?
Oh, Magic.
Who's a better passer?
Magic.
Who's a better mid-range shooter?
I'll give Curry that.
I know you do. Who's a better playoff performer?
Magic.
At what?
100%.
He can't shoot. He don't got no left hand.
Even if he didn't have any left hand, or even if he couldn't shoot, I can tell you that. I can tell you what he did do. He's a part of the biggest collapse in NBA history, being up 3-1 and actually losing in the NBA championship. I'm sorry, sir. I can't hear. Let me clean my hands.
Okay. I will say both Steph and Magic, and I'm a Magic guy. Magic is my all-time favorite athlete. They both do have really bad losses on their resume. The Tragic Johnson, people forget the Tragic Johnson thing that started in 1984 when the Lakers lost to the Celtics, beat up 2-1 that series against his Boston, and he melted down. Okay, but even with that, Steph's collapse is worse because he was up 3-1 against the Cavaliers. Okay, that's worse, and didn't show up in Game 7. So Steph Curry Magic does win that. Magic Johnson is a better leader. Best point guard of all time. Steph's in the conversation, obviously, but you have the OG here discussing the Magic portion of it. A young kid, a youngin', I'm going to call that, trying to defend the Curry argument, and the OG, he lit him up, okay? Because the reality is that you can't ignore that 3-1 collapse. You can't ignore it. 3-1, and you're up 3-1, where 2 of the last 3 games are in your house. As a 73 win season winning team that year, okay, what the record that year? That's it. So you imagine to have that something as egregious as that. So there's that. All right, last one before we get out of here for the fifth, after all these months, the fifth edition of EJ Loves the Internet. Here is 5 things to unlearn in a marriage.
It's about marriage, and I had to find out the hard way. Marriage humbled me real quick, and I'm going to share with y'all 5 things I had to unlearn. First, I had to unlearn about shutting down. Growing up, I thought being quiet kept the peace, but in marriage, I had to learn silence doesn't fix those problems. It just builds more distance. That real connection comes from talking it out, even when it's uncomfortable. The second thing I had to unlearn, that winning an argument meant I was right. Pride just makes you want to win. But in marriage, if your spouse feels unheard, nobody wins. The goal at the end of the day is understanding, not proving a point. The third thing I had to unlearn was about keeping score. I did the dishes, so you owe me kind of mindset. No, that just turns love into transactions. And partnership means we both step up, not because we're keeping tally, but because we're on the same team. And at the end of the day, we want to see each other win. The fourth thing I had to unlearn was ignoring her mental load. And that's not just about chores. It's remembering a lot of things, especially with kids. You got appointments, the groceries, all the activities they're in, all the little things that keep life moving. If one person's just carrying all of that load, then the resentment just starts to build up. So sharing that load makes the marriage lighter for the both of you. And last thing, the fifth thing I had to unlearn was doing everything on my own. I used to think asking for help would make me weak, I guess. But marriage showed me that letting my wife step in, whether it's the kids or whatever, or just my own stress, actually makes us stronger. So yeah, those are some of the things I wanted to share. And I'm still unlearning every day as we go through this journey of marriage. So I hope this video helps somebody out. Peace.
He nailed a lot of good points there, especially too. And I can speak on someone who's been now 15 years married, 20 years with my wife. We love each other very much, but we have had a lot of hardships, a lot of difficulties through the years. Communication is never been our issue, but in recent years, sometimes we struggle with that at times. It is one of those things where we just have to keep pushing on and communicating and keeping it in. Look, people look at marriage as this, and maybe it's just me and I'm older, maybe it's just where I'm sitting at, but I feel like people today don't put enough work into it. There's a lot of work that goes involved marriage. You can't just let it be, okay? You can't just be silent, okay? You can't just let things be. You have to talk. You have to work things out. You have to make sacrifices. And people, I think, still do not get it. Okay? And people are willing to give up. Now, look, if there's domestic violence involved, if there's cheating involved, obviously you get out of that situation. That's different. But if you are in a unit, remember, the reason why, I'll speak from my own perspective. The reason my marriage works is because we are not just married and lovers and all this stuff and the things that we love about marriage and butterflies. We are also friends. We are also, more important, we're partners. It is, in a lot of ways, people forget that marriage is, in a lot of ways, also a business partnership. Not that we're making a business together, but more so when you get married, there's a finance involved in the marriage. And if you get divorced, there's obviously business things you have to do there with 50-50 and all this stuff. It's a partnership across the board. And you take that, not just from the financial point of view, but also how we make decisions. If you're a parent, you make decisions as a unit based on how to raise our children. It is not easy to be on the same page. You have to make sacrifices. You have to consider other perspectives. You have to drop your ego as well, too, also. It is very, very tough to do that. And if you're not someone that is well-equipped to handle that, then, you're in trouble. So, that's what it is. And it's, like I said, it's a lot of work, but it's also worth it. It's also very, very, very worth it. So, all I can say is that these 5 things don't learn, especially to follow that, because I something I struggle with, but I still do. But always try to make it work. The divorce rate in this country is astronomical. It's amazing how many people just up and quit just because they don't get their way or whatever. Again, I'm not saying that domestic violence, obviously things like that nature, you talk about like cheating and all that stuff. That I get. That I absolutely understand. You don't obviously want to be involved in a situation where you are in that. However, if you love your spouse, if you love your family, if you want to work it out, you should always lean towards that first, and always. I'm always someone as a proponent for making things always work as far as you can go before you can't anymore. And that's just that. Put the work in. That's all I can say. So again, that will do it for me on this podcast. Eat of the Internet. Again, I'm on X at EJChristian7. I hope you guys enjoy all the content here on the feed. And until the next podcast, we will talk to you guys soon. Stay up. God bless you guys. And until the next one.